Ohio State. I have an undergraduate and master's degree in mechanical engineering, and now I run this company today. I've always just enjoyed learning and asking questions, and I've gone from engineering to management, so that's kind of my transition to how I got here. Hopefully you guys all have a strong interest in manufacturing, and I expect that you do because you're here today. I also suspect you do because of the things that you're likely interested in. Even though you may not know it, you have an interest in manufacturing because these smartphones that you like were designed and built by somebody, right? There's a manufacturing plant somewhere that built the case for that iPhone. There's a manufacturing plant somewhere that built the chips for that iPhone. There's a manufacturing plant somewhere that built the soles for your Air Force Ones. There's the manufacturing plant somewhere that built the case for the Rolexes, right? The things that you like, the cars that we drive, the tools that we use every day were manufactured somewhere. So even though you may not know that you have an appreciation for manufacturing, you actually do because of the things you interact with every day. And that's what I like about manufacturing, is thinking that at some point somewhere somebody had to make that table, right? Somebody had to make this whiteboard. Somebody has to make the things that we use every day, and that's what a manufacturing environment can do, can produce. All different types of manufacturing in the world, obviously. From fancy cars to tables, somebody's making the things that we use every day, and that's what gives me joy. At Matot, we manufacture a product called a dumbwaiter. And a dumbwaiter is a little elevator for stuff, not people. So if you have to move a microwave from the ground floor to the second floor, you could take it into an elevator and ride up and unload it, or you could put it into my dumbwaiter and send it to the second floor. It goes to the second floor, somebody unloads it up there. That's the type of product we make every day. They are used in restaurants. We need to move food between floors of the building. They're used in libraries for moving books. They're used in airports for moving luggage. They're used in hospitals for moving food and drugs between floors of the building. Anytime you need to move stuff, but not people, between the different floors, you can use a dumbwaiter. That's what we do. And I'll show you one. We've got some installed here in our building that I'll also show you some that are being manufactured today. We have a second product that we manufacture in this building, and it's called a damper, the D-A-M-P-E-R, damper. And what it does is control airflow in a large pipe or tube. So let's say you've got this giant tube, air is flowing through it, and you want to shut that air off. You put a damper in there, and it basically is this piece of metal that goes like this to block the air, or goes like this to let the air through. So we make those as well. Everything we make on this shop floor is custom engineered to order, so we build very specific things for very specific customers, oftentimes low volume. Yep.
Well, now that you said that, like since you said that dumbwaiter is more like more expensive houses,
They can.
have you worked in like with like someone like not just like a celebrity?
We do. So our equipment typically goes into a business. So typically into a restaurant, a hotel, a hospital. Right. We do put them into very expensive homes. We do have them in the homes of Bill Gates. We do have them in the homes of Oprah. She's got a massive estate out in Hawaii that's got a couple of our dumbwaiters for her kitchen, believe it or not. They do go into high-end residential properties. Typically an installed dumbwaiter, so if you're building a 3-story townhome, you might want one because your kitchen might be on the 3rd floor and you don't want to carry your groceries upstairs. Will cost you $40,000 to $50,000 to put one in your townhome. So they're not for the everyday.
Perks.
Yes.
Wait, so did y'all like invent this or it's being invented?
They were in existence in 1888, primarily because office buildings moved a lot of paper back then. Right? They didn't have computer, email, Instagram, TikTok, so when they wanted to share information, they had to move great volumes of paper between floors of the building, like in downtown. And so dumbwaiters did exist in that environment. We didn't invent it. However, we were one of the last companies that still makes it. We bought a competitor. We've consolidated the market. Our sales guys did a very good job. And now in the world of elevators, because that's kind of the world that we play in, elevators, dumbwaiters kind of go together. We're the brand, Matot is the brand that an architect will use if they're designing a new building and wants to put a dumbwaiter in.
What would you say is the most important part of this company?
Good question.
It will always be the employees that we have. Now, I say that because I know that because I have employees that you will see on the shop floor, and I'll point them out to you guys secretly, although you'll be able to tell. I've got 3 employees on my shop floor right now that have worked for us for 45 years.
Their whole life, basically.
Their whole life.
Yeah.
My senior vice president of sales, so he's a sales guy, has been with the company for over 50 years. He had a job in college working as a roofer, and when he came out of college, he joined Matot as a salesman and never left. So that type of knowledge, that type of experience is just invaluable when it comes to running a company like ours. Yes?
Would you say that there's a lot of opportunity to move and grow here?
There is. I mean, guys like that don't stay because we're doing the same thing that they did 45 years ago. We have employees that started in what we call crating, which is a very kind of entry-level position. You're building wood crates, pallets, skids, that sort of thing, that have moved into different departments on the shop floor, who have then transitioned up into engineering, for example. So transitions like that can happen in a small company, especially a family-run business or a privately held company, where we overvalue our employees, right? We want to pay great wages. We want to offer good benefits. We want to invest in your training, your health care. If you raise your hand and say, hey, I'd really like to learn about CAD software, but I'm a welder, we can make things like that happen.
The day in the life question.
Day in the life. So, our shop runs from 6:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. So we run what's called 410s. So rather than working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you get 40 hours. Here you do 40 hours in 4 days. Okay, so 6:30 a.m. is an early start for many of you. Because my employees are here at 6:15. 6:15, they get settled, they change their shoes, they put on their work boots, we got a locker room, they might grab a cup of coffee, their workstations at 6:30. You have a break mid-morning, 10 o'clock you get a break, right? Stretch your legs, cup of coffee, have a snack, lunch at noon, half day, or half hour, break in the afternoon, 2:30. Then they leave the door at 5 o'clock. So that's our 10-hour day. Basically, a 10-hour work day. We like 410s because once you're here, why not work the extra 2 hours? Because the benefit is you get a 3-day weekend every weekend.
Amen.
You're off every Friday, right?
These are the ones over here.
So that's the way we run our company. Now our office staff, because customers call every day, right? Manufacturing, we can kind of do that with. You either work, so me, I work Monday through Thursday, but my vice president of finance and accounting, she works Tuesday through Friday. Right? So we kind of share that work schedule upstairs. So we always have sales available upstairs. We always have customer support available upstairs every day. But the manufacturing floor, we can do different things with. Yes?
What's the lowest starting wages?
We are starting, we haven't hired in a while. Last person I hired was a welder. They started at $19 an hour, but they're making $21 an hour now. So we're generally paying between $20 to $35 an hour.
What experience or education do you have to work here?
We take all types depending on the opportunity. So sometimes I just need somebody that's willing to work hard, show up work every day, ask a lot of good questions, has an open mind, is willing to try new things, can be cross-trained, right, between different kind of openings or availability, just kind of where we need help.
So most of the time the experience doesn't matter?
It's not the most critical. Are you reliable, are you dependable, can you show up for work every day on time? It's a big ask for a lot of people. I've got employees here that still show up 2 minutes late every day. It drives me absolutely bonkers. I'm like, you live 15 minutes away, you can't get here that 2 minutes early. Like, that happens every day. But that's what we need more than anything. Now there are specific jobs, like a welder. We're going to want you to know how to weld. Right? That's kind of an obvious. You may go to a welding training program that's associated with. MR doesn't have it today. But there are junior colleges, technical schools where you can go for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, learn how to weld. Those are the guys that are coming in. I'm not promising huge dollars, but they're coming in at $22, $23, $25 an hour, right? And they're gonna make $30, $35 an hour at some point in their careers. Because that's a skill, right, and that's in demand, and that's what you wanna become is in demand.
So when you, say somebody was in the market for a dumbwaiter, right?
Yeah.
Would this be like the first, like, option to come through?
It would, so typically the process is an architect is designing a new building, right, they're designing a library. So, the architect's doing all the big fancy design, what's this thing gonna look like on the outside, what's it gonna look like on the inside, where are we gonna put the books, right? And they're gonna say, at some point in time, we're gonna have books in the basement, and we're gonna have books on the fourth floor, how are we gonna move between the floors of the buildings? The architect allocates space in the building for what we call the hoistway, where it's like the chimney that the whole thing goes into. They block that out in their design, they just leave it there. So then, somebody gives somebody a bunch of money, the general contractor starts building the building, they look at the drawings, they say, we need to put a dumbwaiter here. So that general contractor calls an elevator company, says, hey, do you know anything about dumbwaiters? They say, yeah, we do. Good, buy me a dumbwaiter. Then they call us.
Right.
And they say, we need a dumbwaiter that's gonna fit in this hole. Right? It's gonna carry 300 pounds of books to 4 floors. So we need a system that's gonna accommodate that request. And that's what we do. So my sales guys are the first point of contact, right? They get the phone call, like, hey, we need a dumbwaiter that's 40 inches wide, 50 inches deep, 60 inches tall. We're gonna roll a cart into it, it's gonna weigh 500 pounds. What's that gonna look like? And we design that whole thing for them.
Right. So like, say you had a phone, and somebody looking for a phone, they'd be like, well, go get an iPhone. So if somebody wanted a dumbwaiter, they'd be like, well, what make it?
That's right.
So is this like the only manufacturing company for dumbbells in either like the US or Chicago, like?
So we are one of the only, there are 3 companies in the United States that build our product. We're the largest by far.
Okay.
This is the only location that builds any kind of dumbwaiter. It's a good question.
You had a question?
Yeah, out of country customers, well, I know we did look on the site and saw some of the partnerships, like with Boeing, Apple, McDonald's, are there any out of the country customers that receive your products, and what is like the difference between selling in the United States and to another country?
So we do sell into North America, we do sell to Mexico, we do sell to Canada. So technically we're selling outside the country, but those are fairly easy. We do have dumbwaiters that are in Israel today. They are in the Intel manufacturing facilities in Israel that make chips for computers and things like that. They have different requirements when it comes to electronics. And that's where the big differences are. They might have more strict rules for some things, less restrictive rules for other parts of the design. And that's where we just need to, our engineers will read their codes to make sure that we can build a product that meets their specifications. Otherwise, the mechanics of it are the same. It's still a box that's going to go up and down, but how we control that might be a little more unique.
Did you say Netflix of the watch?
Yeah, the dumbwaiter.
Is that like realistic? Like people like ride up and down the dumbwaiter all day?
Yeah, you're not supposed to at all. It's totally legal. It happens every day. It also saved the day in Home Alone 3.
Right.
Yeah, we have big plaques inside our dumbwaiters that say no riders, right? Because although our dumbwaiters have safeties on them, they have a safety, so if the cable breaks, it's got the cable, it locks itself in place. They're not as, they don't have like double or triple safeties in the way that an elevator might, right? Because if a box of paper drops to the floor, not a big deal, right? It's different than if you have humans in an elevator that drops to the floor, right? It's a bigger deal. Yes?
Just out of curiosity, I know you guys they're utilizing hotels a lot, you mentioned the food. I was just thinking like laundry and things like that, do they utilize it for those purposes as well, especially in larger hotels?
They very much do.
Okay.
The advantage to a dumbwaiter in a building like that is that you're saving a human's time.
Yeah.
That a human can take a cart into an elevator, ride up 18 floors and unload it, then ride back down 18 floors. Right? But that might take 20 minutes of somebody's time, right? So that's a lot of hourly cost to a building.
Okay.
Whereas if they just put the dumbwaiter in they push the button, it goes up, somebody meets it at the top, you just save that 20 minutes round trip time. It'll pays for itself. Yes?
So here, do they offer any other programs or opportunities outside of like just dealing with the company? Like is there any like maybe scholarship opportunities for people that maybe want to go back to school or, you know, something else?
Tuition
Employer
reimbursement.
Yes, we don't call them scholarships, but yes, if an employee wants to go back to school to learn a specific skill that is applicable to their job, or perhaps their next position within Matot, we absolutely will support that. And it depends. If you're gonna go to Kellogg and get an MBA for $140,000, we'll talk about sharing some of that cost. If you wanna learn how to use SolidWorks, a CAD program at the local community college or technical school, and it's a 12-week training program that's gonna cost $3,500 all day long, we'll support something like that, right? So it's just kind of it's an it depends kind of answer, but generally, of course, we want you to become the best employee that you can, right? Because that benefits us ultimately again. That makes sense. So I'm gonna talk about a thing. I've used this example before. I'll just pass it around.